Yeah.
And it's recording.
And then I won't be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You've already hit record and that's fine. You can just edit that part out.
Yeah. Or have I?
Maybe it's been on this whole time.
Yeah, that's right.
That's all right.
I'll just do some
I was looking.
ghost mouse movements here, and that'll make you guess whether or not it's recording or not.
Okay. What's your book there? Right down there. Yeah, that. Yeah.
Oh, this is actually this is fasting nutrition notebook.
Yeah.
Like, this is notes.
That's what you had the first night.
Yeah, notes and a few printouts from the studies that I cherry picked. I think that's it. Yeah. And all my, what's this? Oh, those are client. Those are client files. Yeah. So I guess maybe an introduction here, or actually, you know what I should do is probably the legal stuff. So if there's, like the, no, I'll do the introduction
out first.
Yeah.
Okay.
So hello, everybody. This is hopefully going to be posted up on the FastCast, either YouTube channel or Facebook channel, or maybe both, in an ideal world. And its intention is to be a informal interview-based approach to fasting. So it gives everybody an opportunity to see other people's challenges, successes, maybe hints, tricks that they use for fasting. And I'd have to say the legal part is that neither of us are doctors and recommending anything here. It's just meant to be exactly like what I said, just a community-based group support type of a deal, and just really for interest and entertainment. I think that's what they use in a lot of the legal disclaimers, for entertainment purposes only.
Maybe we should print a disclaimer after.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, that's probably a good idea. Put a legal disclaimer up on the page. So my name is Mark, and I am a conditioning coach and nutritionist. Sometimes those things change around, and I'll let you introduce yourself, Chrissy.
All right. My name's Chrissy, and I'm one of Mark's students. Do I like attach a title to it? Do I have to say like my profession, or like I just don't want to be judged by my profession?
Oh yeah, no, not at all. I would say that
that's just who I am.
So
I am your pupil.
Well, you'll end up you're going to be a co-host, and when I'm away on holidays and in Bahrain and those fancy places far flung, then you might be the solo host here. So we're co-hosts of the channel here. So we'll be going into the future doing co-hosting and interviewing with each other. I think that's the plan. And but we thought that we'd throw ourselves under the bus first for the first 2 episodes.
I'm good at that.
Yeah, throwing yourself under the bus.
I'm very good at that. You picked well.
Yeah, I would have to say I'm pretty talented at throwing myself under the bus as well. So yeah, so with that all said, that was our goal, is to, I guess for the most part, not expect other people to do what we haven't already done ourselves. And so that was sort of the intent of these first 2, is to interview each other and see how it plays out, and see what our interviewing skills, where we excel and where we don't excel, what needs brushing up on.
I guess I'll have to take notes.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I've definitely got a pen and paper here for my side.
I got mine.
Get your erasable note-taking device there. I got to remember to sit up properly with good posture instead of start laying back.
That's right. And well, how to avoid the double chin? Go back or farther back. It's going to require some practice. You did hit record, I'm guessing.
Oh, I probably should. Yes, I did. Yeah, I definitely hit record.
Yeah, you did a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully you guys find this informational. What did I say there? You guys might find this informational and helps out with group fast. Whoever ends up having to watch this, whether it's live in the future or recorded after the fact. And yeah, I'm interviewing Chrissy today, and then next week Chrissy will be interviewing me. And then after that, we start picking other interviewees. Yeah. So, without further ado, ready to race?
Let's do it.
You have anything to add to that?
To add to my introduction?
Yeah, what we already said.
Or to the like who we're going to interview next?
No, just as far as like the goal of this.
I would love to be able to help people. Yes, yeah. I love that as a goal. That's a great goal.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I don't think
I'm glad you decided on a goal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, it's throwing yourself under the bus again and go off in some direction.
And not having purpose.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess my first question of what do you do for a living, then I should cross that out.
Oh, well.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
It comes with baggage. I don't want judgment.
Oh, really? Okay. Well,
I want, maybe that'll come up later in conversation. But I guess it would have good context to how fasting impacts my life, or how my life impacts fasting, I suppose. My job is stressful.
Yeah.
So I guess...
I'm just kidding. That wasn't my first question. But I think that's good. That's a good point, though. It will come up later, I think. Unless you don't want it to.
Well, I guess I will admit that I am a teacher. It is my profession. I'm not. There's a difference. I am not a teacher. That is my living.
Yeah. Well, both my parents were teachers, so I totally know that.
I know.
I lived in that household. Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't talk to you like a baby for your entire life, I hope.
No. Luckily, they were both. Well, my mom was elementary school, but my father was high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but my neighbor growing up, she was a kindergarten teacher, and she just always talked to everybody like they were babies. You know, you're like, I'm not that person.
Yeah.
It's totally not my thing. Even though I'm with 6-year-olds all the time, but yeah.
Would you think it'd be fair to say that grade or the lower grades are sort of self-selecting? Like after some point, is a person drawn there, or is a person sort of end up there?
Or you get, I think it's the universe. So my first year of teaching, I swore I would never do kindergarten. Like I swore up and down. Where do you think I ended up? Kindergarten. For 5 years.
Like right out of the gates?
For 5 years. Right out of the gate. I had zero experience. And I'm not a parent, so I have no idea, like, all the things that they needed. I just was so lost. But 5 years I was there in kindergarten. So I went up to grade 1 and grade 2, and that's pretty much as far as I've got. And now I've done it long enough. It's like, okay, I get it.
Oh, okay.
Stay there for a little. Yeah.
And when you say that you
just sort of develop. You develop a program after a while, and you spend all that money on resources. It's kind of nice. You're like, oh, okay, I kind of get what I'm doing, but I could see myself going older sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
But it comes with its own problems. You know, the older kids, they're not as nice. You know, I find even the young ones aren't.
Yeah. Yeah, that's and so in that scenario, then is it a handoff kind of scenario when you're going into that? Like, are you able to pick up another person's syllabus or anything like that, or
for sure. Yeah, you can. Yeah. And like my staff that I work with, we're all pretty good about sharing.
Okay.
All the nuances, like your transitions and, you know, those little things you just sort of learn as you go along, you know, getting people's attention, as you would know. It's just different with older kids versus young ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And do you find that, or have you found through your experience that there's Sort of tiers, I guess you could say, or there's certain age brackets. There's different approaches
Yeah.
that you found. Oh yeah, oh,
Yeah.
really?
Like I'm finding grade 1 now is more like kindergarten. So I treat grade 1 as kindergarten from September to December, just to kind of,
Oh,
regroup. And then grade 1 officially for me starts after Christmas. So
okay.
I like grade 2. I could see myself going grade 3. I like that age, and I like the content of what we have to teach. And they're just independent. Like even in, grade 1, they still don't know how to put on snowsuits and silly things like that. You
Yeah.
wouldn't believe how annoying they are, or looking for mitts. Like, honest to God, I could stick a fork in my eye if I have a parent call me, "Oh, little Susie lost their hat."
Yeah.
You're like, "Oh, out of how many children I'm supposed to find this one hat with no name on it?" Seriously.
There's none in my car. There's none at my house. That's all I know.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So
Um,
yeah, I'm a teacher.
how long have you been doing that anyway? So you taught kindergarten first, and then
Well,
now you're grade 1.
this is my 13th year. So I had a life before I was a teacher, which I find is a little more helpful. Being in this profession, there's a lot of teachers that just come right out of university and are a teacher, and they don't really
Yeah.
have sort of a life skill set. I was a bartender, I cleaned houses, I did gardens, worked on a horse farm, had a horse farm. Just, I feel like I lived my life first.
Yes. Yeah.
And I just sort of draw from that. When I'm teaching too, I have more experiences that I can relate to parents, I guess. I don't know. I guess I'm more of a people person.
Yeah. And I guess too, if you've got some of that life experience, you've had to, out of necessity, do some problem solving and things like
Yeah.
that. That through life, you're able to draw on more examples if you're trying to convey or
Yeah.
teach a concept.
Not that 6-year-olds have crazy concepts to learn,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Yeah. I did draw on a very valuable lesson yesterday, because there's a snapping turtle that comes here every year, and it came out yesterday. So I had a huge lesson about a snapping turtle. And then I got to track. I didn't realize there was a website that you could go to input the information about these turtles that you find. I had no idea.
Really?
But
I did not
anyways,
know
it
that.
turned out I've been tracking this turtle since 2011, and it's the same one. And so my whole lesson was about this turtle.
Did it have a tag or something? Is that how you track it?
No, you're just supposed to input the information, and I had pictures to show that yes, in 2011, the shell is the same. I mean, it's got to be the same one.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess their shell patterns are all uniquely identifying
I would think.
features, eh?
I was hoping a parent would have some more insight than my guesstimation. I was just, I was like, I guess they come here to lay eggs. I don't know. What do
Yeah.
you think?
Yeah.
So they were sending in their comments.
There was just somebody
Yeah,
that had a
that's a huge
Facebook
squirrel
post the other
moment.
day that was showing how to pick up snapping turtles and move them if they're on the road.
Oh yeah.
Pick up on there. It's either Facebook or the Weather
Okay,
Channel or something.
I think it's bull, because I tried it and the thing spun around so freaking fast that I dropped
Really?
it.
No.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, and now that I'm thinking back to the video that she had, I wonder if hers had maybe been given some volume, because it was like totally cool with her picking it up and everything.
Was it an older lady that picked it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, like this thing that I tried to pick it up, it wasn't even that big, and I swear to God, it bit me in a second.
Really?
They are not as slow as you think. Yeah.
And I think what
And
most
then,
people don't realize. What was that?
well,
Sorry.
and they say, oh, you should put your car mat on it because their shell has salmonella, and I'm a germ phobe, so I didn't want to touch the shell, and so or you should have gloves.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that, but that makes sense. They'd have to be covered in all kinds of stuff just to keep them safe in that environment that they live in, or adapted, I should say.
I guess.
Wow.
Well, my first photo of the turtle, it's full of green algae, so I would imagine that's all the good stuff. And then the one I took yesterday, there was nothing on its shell. It was just dry.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it wasn't
Yeah.
slimy or whatever.
No. So I guess that stuff comes and goes, I'm guessing.
Like a seasonal type of thing. That would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
They're so adaptable. Those things are crazy.
Yeah. That was interesting stuff.
Yeah. Let's
Okay,
talk
I'm not
fasting.
nervous anymore. I'm not nervous anymore.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Well, you got your teacher admission out of the way, so
Yep.
you
That
can
is what I am.
you
Yeah.
can put whatever you want in there. Oh yeah, I used to hold up banks. I was a hired assassin. That's all easy now.
I kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we agreed on maybe doing so when I sent you the questions that I thought we'd ask, we'd have a couple or one or two fasting
Some
related,
random
other
ones.
ones random. Yep. So
My
the first one I
cat.
had in there. We've got pets in there. The first question I had though, just to have that focus of the fasting, at least at the first part of the interviews that we're going to be doing. And I think really what leads into a lot of people's interest in being here is the length of time they've been doing it. So the first one that I had down for you was wondering how long you've been fasting for.
And it's been a year, just over a year now.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
That's cool. Basically,
Yeah.
got
So
4 seasons
it was
worth.
like, yeah, it was probably just after March break last year that I started.
Oh, okay.
From April, March break, kind of around there.
Yeah.
So it gives me some credibility.
Yeah, you got some street cred.
I got a little bit. Yeah.
And in that little over a year, what was the first one that you did? Like, how long was it? And then since then, what's the longest one that you've done?
I would say probably the first few times it was like 12 or 14 hours.
Yep.
And then I seem to like to hover between a 16 and 18-hour fast. And the longest one I've done is a 20-hour fast. I feel afraid. I don't know why, but the 24-hour mark, I can't get my head around it. And I think I'd be totally fine. I could probably do 48, but I no longer have my support group. So it's like, oh, well, I feel comfortable enough at the 16 or the 18. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's about as good of an answer as I have.
So
that's why you're here.
And the other people that are going to join in. Did you? And so when you say 16 or 18, is that one that you're doing like on a daily basis, or that's what you go back to occasionally?
I always do 16 or 18 daily. I was just doing it originally Mondays to Fridays and having weekends off, but I felt like I actually really liked how I felt. So I just do it every day. That's my eating window.
Yeah.
Like I was sort of worried that, it's bad for you, but I feel better when I have a 16 or 18-hour window of fasting.
So you've been doing that. So how long did you do the 5-day a weekday one?
So I
before you switched over to the 7 days a week.
So Monday to Friday, I did that from like when I first started till June.
Oh, okay. Months.
That was like, a few months I just did that and had the weekends free. And then the summertime was tricky though. It's really hard because my routine was sort of all over the place and cottaging and traveling. I really tried to stick to like a 14 to 16-hour window. Like when we went out to BC, that was super tricky because you didn't know where you were stopping and when. But and then back in September when I started back to work, I went straight into 16 to 18 hours every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, you said a couple things there. You said that you didn't have your group anymore. So I'll ask you about that.
Yes. Yeah, I was dropping a lot of little segues there.
You say, did you have a group that you were sort of relying on? You guys each helped each other out, or what was the group?
In the very beginning, a friend who I was fortunate enough, we got to work together when we first started, and she introduced me to it, and I just found it so interesting. And so we would just talk about it every day, and it became, this really neat relationship where, we talk about our foods, and then we were trying to incorporate keto, and then we would, try new recipes. So each day we'd bring in new recipe items that we tried, and, like weird things like the monk fruit instead of sugar. We were substituting xylitol, which is gross. and, so I really enjoyed having that time with her, as well as just being able to chat about something new that was so fascinating. And then I just found it, I guess, not as inspiring when, we sort of parted ways, end of the school year, summer happens, and it's not the same. You don't see each other every day. So you're not like, oh my God, what'd you eat last night? Or what'd you break your fast with today? Kind of thing. I don't know. I kind of get energized by other people's energy. So I just found it was fun, and it was easy. So she dropped 30 pounds and I dropped 11. Like it was nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is an accountability buddy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's so many things in life that work that way. Like even,
working out.
Working out, exercise.
Yeah.
Goal setting, almost anything.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this.
I will say I'm still working out with the videos.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Well, if I pay for it, I'm accountable.
Yes. That's such a big lesson that I didn't understand in my younger years that I get now, where you will offer something up to somebody for free and it's not valued the same as if a person is paying for it. It's, I guess it kind of makes sense in a way.
And you don't want to give it away you don't want to give it away too cheap either.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly it. Mm-hmm. That's cool. So then the other thing that you said too is you were saying that you just extended your 5 times a week to 7 times a week because of the way that it made you feel.
Yes.
So what was the biggest thing, or, well, actually, when you say that, do you have something that comes up to the forefront as far as the biggest change that you felt? Or
I would say the biggest change is like bloating and inflammation and mental clarity. It just is like, I don't know, it just you feel light. I don't know how else to describe it. I don't have that uncomfortable muffin top.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to go up a size.
Yeah, you were saying that the 11, actually, I forgot to ask you, how long did it take you to your friend had the 30-pound loss, you had the 11 pounds. How long did that take?
So that was we started sort of March, April until the end of June. Because she had a goal of, I think it was a wedding. She had a goal of going somewhere, and she was going to visiting some people. So she had a dress she wanted to wear. And I was going to a wedding.
Oh, okay.
In BC. Yeah.
So she averaged about 10 pounds a month then, ish.
I think so, yeah.
Wow. End of February.
Yeah.
April, May, and June? Or March, April, May?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was definitely very strict keep, and I find that really challenging to adhere to that as a lifestyle, which is why I like the fasting part, because I can incorporate days where I'm not full on keto.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, and as far as when you say that, is it the planning of getting yourself into eating the foods that's going to get you into what you think is ketogenic? Like less planning with the fasting? Or easier from a
this is
mental
the part, this is the struggle. I have just with the fasting, I feel great. And then it's when I have to go eat something
Mm.
that it just all falls apart. And it's actually been really nice to have this time off to just sort of spend time watching what I'm eating and when. It's all about the timing of what I eat that seems to impact how I feel. Even like keto things weren't exactly agreeable either. So I was like, I don't know. The inflammation would start, the uncomfortable bloating, and those kinds of things. And I was like, okay, do I have a food allergy? Am I allergic to these foods? But then I'd have them at other times of the day and then I'd be fine. But I can't deny fresh sourdough bread. I just can't.
Yeah.
If there's a sourdough bread and it's, I'm not going to have it every day, but I don't want to say no. I don't do well with denial, and I can't. I have to be allowed to have it sometimes.
Yes.
So I find that the fasting allows me to indulge, but I can't break the fast. I can't break the fast with something that I indulge with, because then it just falls to bits. The day just is a disaster.
So it sounds to me like you've done that. You know that's a rule that you have to stick to because you haven't stuck to it.
Yes. Yeah. But I think, it just turns into almost binging because I can't stop. It's like this chemical. I'm like, oh my God, I got to keep eating because I should be eating and I'm hungry. But what I've been learning is when you're breaking your fast, you are insulin sensitive. So that's such a small window of time where you shouldn't really be eating that much. Mm-hmm. I ate so much one time after I fasted that I had to go and nap because I was so hungry, and I was like, I just couldn't stop eating. But then I was like, what? I don't understand what that's the part where I'm floundering around.
Yeah.
It's clearly strategic on what I need to eat and when. And so that's what I'm learning now. Like the other day, so I knew that I was going to my friend's house and he'd made this really nice orange cake and he's been teaching me how to make sourdough. And it was like 11 o'clock and I knew, oh my God, I'm going to have to break my fast. I better do it before I go because I'm going to have a piece of that cake.
Yeah. What is it? Orange cake? It's like cake with actual orange?
And it was this weird, I don't know. It was like orange cornmeal. And then, and he served it with maple syrup whiskey at 11 o'clock in the morning. I was like, I don't drink, but you can't say no. You can't say no. And that's another thing about fasting. I don't like to say, oh, I'm fasting right now, I can't eat anything.
Yeah.
But I knew that I was going over there and I didn't want to break the fast with whiskey and cake. So, because I knew that the day would be destroyed. So I made sure I broke the fast before I went. So that day I didn't fast for as long. But I kept it in check. So I broke the fast with just scrambled eggs. I find if I just have a little bit of scrambled eggs, that seems to keep me level. And then, so like, an hour later is when I had the orange cake and whiskey, but then I didn't lose control. And that was sort of a big eye opener for me. So I still had high glycemic foods, but I didn't fall off the wagon kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
If that makes sense.
Oh, for sure.
It's a female hormone, insulin, all kinds of stuff going on there.
Yeah. Oh no, that's totally it. And I think from a guy's perspective, it's the same thing where you want to, I shouldn't say from a guy's perspective, but from my own perspective or my own experience, it's the same thing. It's breaking it. It's the hardest part. Yeah.
Yeah, so you never really sort of admitted that. And this has been my struggle the last year. I think when I was learning about fasting and just doing keto, that made it really easy. I would say that's a really nice transition if you're going to start it, just go keto, but then start learning about, I think everybody's different. Your insulin levels are so different when you're coming off your fast. You really need to be careful. And so, I guess I sort of noticed around Christmas time, a couple pounds creep back, it's Christmas time and it's stressful. And I work a second job, and and I serve food all day, and I freaking love it. It's all
Yeah.
these charcuterie boards and mac and cheese and poutine.
So
And
good food.
I've really noticed my relationship with food during this year, because I have a strong relationship with food.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah.
But I find that the fasting gives me more awareness of it, and I can be more mindful of, oh boy, A, I'm stressed out, B, I'm tired, or C, I haven't eaten the right kind of nutrients in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I'm rambling on all over the place.
No, that's totally, I would bet that that's, well, let's put it this way. After having been a member of the fasting method Facebook page or group for
Yeah.
a while,
Yeah.
and just going through there and reading the comments of the other group members, that's got to be up there for the most common most common challenge as far as the learning
Yes.
curve about fasting is. It's extremely easy to start because all you just stop eating. You just make a decision to
Yeah.
stop eating, and especially if you're a
It
novice
makes it
at it,
really simple in the
yeah,
morning. You don't have to make breakfast anymore. It's great. I
yeah,
saved myself a half an hour in the morning.
yeah. You save so much time.
Yeah.
And then, but then the problem with that though is that I guess the false sense of security, or you get lulled into a false sense of security, that if it's that easy to start, then it's also that easy to stop the fast. So then you're just like, okay, well, I'm done my
Yeah. I'm
fast
going to
now.
go
Let's
eat
go have and
something.
eat. Yeah, and you have something to eat, and then
Yeah.
that's when you can, fall off the wanting to do
Yeah.
it again, because it's like you say, you can make yourself pass out, or
Yeah.
you're two different people. One type of person before, and then your body changes enough that you're a different person after you finish the fast, that you
Yeah.
have to be much more careful, plan it
Like
out, I guess.
I was finding when I was at work, it was so easy to adhere to my work schedule, but I was breaking my fast at 10 o'clock, and I would have a coffee with cream, and I would try to have like a hard-boiled egg, but it was the cream, I think, because as I've been researching, it spikes your insulin. Because I would find I couldn't even make it an hour, where I'd just be like, I'd be so hangry, I couldn't keep it in check. I'd just be like, I could eat my arm off. I was so hungry.
Yeah.
And but I couldn't eat until 12, because that's when my lunchtime was. So I'd have from 10 until 12, and I'd have to teach, and then I would just lose my freaking shit, because I just couldn't stop thinking about eating.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's the lactose, and in the milk, probably there's enough sugar in there to
Yeah,
definitely give you
it
that
would cause the
spike.
spike.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I could have the cream later, because I was trying to do keto coffee, higher fat, and I don't do sugar. I really honestly try not to have any kind of sugar unless it's honey.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really, and now here I'm discovering, oh, I shouldn't have had cream in the coffee. I should have just had a black with the egg, and I would have been fine.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing that now, and I'm okay. And actually, I can go a couple hours, and then I'll have like a bigger meal later on.
Yeah. 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 So when you said, actually, you kind of touched on something that I find is a really big deal, and it's sort of also related to the question that we got into, which is, you're saying that you are noticing, you've really become more aware and noticed your relationship with food.
Oh, absolutely.
So when you say that, what do you, how would you describe the relationship that you have with food now versus whatever is now 12, 14 months ago, or pre-fasting?
Yeah.
Is it easy to encapsulate it into how you were before versus how you are now?
I would say before, I just always thought about food. I always thought about when I would eat again, what I was going to eat. I would like salivate about it, thinking about, okay, I've planned this lunch for today and I can't wait. It's going to be really yummy. And I would always have to have a treat, whether it was a muffin or a cookie or something.
Yeah.
But I just could not stop thinking about it. But like annoying, like out of control almost.
Yeah.
But I needed it like as a comfort to know, okay, well, I know at 12 o'clock, I'm going to have that really yummy leftover that I made the night before. So that's my mindset that I've had forever. And like, I'll like talk about food so passionately because I think about it all the time.
Yeah.
But now I find that I don't even think about it like at all, which is so refreshing. And it's like, I've got all this other time in my brain to think about other things than food.
Yeah.
Which I love.
And you're talking beyond just that previous morning ritual that you used to have breakfast and that you would spend that time to make. You're talking
like my breakfast
beyond that.
I would always make dippy eggs with toast.
Okay.
Always. That was my breakfast. And I'd have to I would get up early so that I could make my dippy eggs and toast because I wanted to have I like a calm morning because that's a nice way to start my day.
Yeah. Dippy eggs are soft. Just so I remember correctly, like soft boiled and you dip the toast in it.
Yeah. Sunny side up.
Okay. Yeah.
But even like I have to have like, so Kim always makes fun of me because when I talk about it, I do this all the time, but I always have to have, and it's like a family thing. Growing up, my mom would always make like, the toast would be cut the right way. And I think that's part of my relationship with food as well, is like thinking about family. And it's a deep, deep connection in my world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That familial history of whatever it happens
comfort. To be. It's comfort. It's fulfillment in a weird way. It's memories. It's like, I can still taste, like I was probably maybe 6. I can still taste this chowder that I had on a holiday with my parents. And I still remember it being so good that I had another bowl because we were visiting family in Nova Scotia. And it was just like, I can still think about being there with my parents and visiting and the flavors and the feeling. Like, it's so intense.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is that?
Yeah.
Is that hormones? Is it, I don't know. Is it just me? But I can really understand people who have food addiction. I don't doubt that I probably do. But I would say the last year has been refreshing that, oh my God, I don't feel like I have to have chips in the house, or, okay, here's my binge. I'm going to admit my binge. At certain times of the month, I got to have me a bag of Maltesers. I'm just saying. But I haven't done it in so long. I have not stopped at the gas station that I always go to, and I haven't like pounded back, not a small bag. I get the big bag, and I pound that thing back from when I'd leave work to when I'd get home. And I'd even feel sick about it. Like, I would feel sick as I was eating those last few Maltesers, but it was just so good.
Yeah.
So good. I can't believe I just admitted that I binge on Maltesers. I do.
I got a binge too, and that I'll let you know when you interview me.
Okay,
oh my God,
I'm writing that down. Mark has a
what
binge.
What do you binge on?
Okay.
So when you said
YouTube.
No.
Okay.
The egg, well, that is one. The egg dippers, then, do you just make them later dippy eggs?
Yeah.
You just make them later in the day then? So do you just, instead of having them for breakfast, you just have them for lunch?
So now here's my thing. I have a relationship with dippy eggs and toast. Yeah. I can't do the toast, so I just do scrambled eggs. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. I was trying to make keto bread with almond flour, and it's just gross. It just is. I just can't do it. I've been trying to learn how to make sourdough, because sourdough is better. It doesn't elevate your glycemic index quite as much as other breads. And I found this beautiful organic flour that's milled locally. And oh my God, like here I am talking about the bread. And so I was explaining it to my other foodie friend. Yeah. And she's like, seriously, it's like an orgasm. It's even better. It's like you have waves and waves of pleasure when you have this warm sourdough bread with butter on it. And I was like, you're right. You're so right.
They're selling orgasms in a bag.
in a loaf of bread.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
But see, I have those relationships with my friends. We talk about food even still.
Yeah.
So with the eggs, sorry, I take it right back. I was thinking, okay, maybe I could introduce a little bit of sourdough bread, but I can't have bread when I break the fast. I can't. That might be something I'd have later in the day.
Okay, I see. Yeah. So then you'll just have, so rather than having the dippy eggs in the morning, those few hours that you were talking about that you have now, that you don't have to worry about making food, you'll just have your breakfast for lunch. You'll have it later.
Pretty much.
Okay. Yeah. And did you find there's any kind of like a mental hurdle that you had to jump over with that? Like, did you find that?
I did.
Going, why am I eating breakfast in the middle of the day?
Well, not even so much that. I think because I love breakfast. That's my most favorite meal of the day. So I would have breakfast for dinner if I could. I love breakfast. But it's more of like eliminating things for breakfast, because I have to really restrain myself when I eat breakfast, because I can't have the bread with the dippy egg.
Yeah.
So I sometimes will have my breakfast meal after I've broken the fast, so that I can have the smoked salmon and the cheese and, and then I put spinach and I make it like a frittata kind of thing. I still try to not have the bread.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's definitely some science behind the lack of ability to digest fats later in the day. So as your digestive circadian rhythm advances later on in the day, your ability to digest fats diminishes, apparently.
Sorry, I just got to turn the light on.
Yep, no worries.
It's kind of dark. Oh, I am wearing pants.
Oh yeah, let's hit the zoom. We made the pinky swear that we would do that.
Yeah.
No pantless zoom.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would be interesting, or what I'm interested in knowing then is so when you're doing the 12, 14, 16 hours, and you're getting up, so you did, the longest one was 20 hours.
Yep.
So when you were
and I will say, just to stop you there before I forget, when I did the 20 hours, I didn't fuel very well. Like I didn't eat properly after the 20 hours, and I felt really, really depleted. And like, it took me like 24 hours to sort of feel normal again. Like I clearly did not eat the right foods after I did that.
Okay.
So that kind of scared me.
Yeah. It puts a negative experience like that kind of puts you off it then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was the change between the 16 to 20 hour period, was that more physical or more mental, emotional kind of? I guess I shouldn't put mental and emotional together. So, yeah. It should probably be two different things.
Or I think for me, because I fast sort of at the same time, I think my body's gotten used to, you always eat at 10. And so it was a lot harder physically to go from 16 to 20, because it was like, you normally eat at 10. So that's 4 hours later. So like I was chugging back the water with salt, just to kind of like stop thinking about it. But it wasn't horrible. Like it was totally doable. Like if that's as comfortable as it's going to get, I mean, that's fine. I mean, Kim asked me, that feeling you get when you're hungry? I was like, no. What do you mean? I'm never really hungry, but that, I experienced hunger. I was like, it wasn't horrible.
Yeah,
it was totally doable. But so I would say, I think just it was more of a physical thing for me, because I was aware of my hunger for sort of like a really long time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, when you're getting up that close to that 20-hour mark, you realize that you were feeling the feelings of physical hunger. Like you had an awareness of your physical hunger for a longer period of time than you're used to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. That made it succinct.
I mean, it's kind of a hard question to answer, because I mean, ultimately, because of the fact that we have the choice to eat whenever we want, we always
Yeah.
and when I say we, geez, anybody that's most likely watching this
Yeah.
will have food available to them, so that when they're ending a fast, it's a conscious mental decision to
Yeah.
end it, rather than you're physically you're pushed yourself to a point where physically you have to, because you're lying on
Yeah.
the floor and dragging yourself along. Yeah.
I will also say I really enjoyed using the fasting app. It was just like,
Oh,
okay,
really?
I put in the time. Okay, I'm going to do a 16-hour fast. So I found that helpful, because it was when I switched to like the 18-hour fast, I was like, okay, I'm going to watch my time. So that was a good distraction to get the longer times.
And by that you mean this one, the Life? I think it's called Life.
No, mine's a
If you're
Zero.
picking that up. Oh,
Yeah,
Zero.
Zero app. It's like a pink screen on it. I guess I can't. Oh, I wonder.
Oh,
No, I can't show you. I wonder. I'll
I
see if I
haven't
can
checked out
find it
your
on my.
Life.
But it's really, and then you can put in like how you're feeling, and I think you can
Ah,
eat, and you put in your weight, and I think you could put in what you ate as well.
it sounds better than this one. I used this app, and this is the main. Hopefully, this is things picking. The
Oh
camera's
yeah,
able to pick it up.
yeah,
You can set how long you want to do it for, and it gives you a
yeah,
countdown and et cetera, et cetera.
yeah.
But
That mine did that too.
yeah,
Oh, that sucks. I'm trying to find it.
okay. And yours is called Zero? Actually, that sounds
Yeah,
familiar. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, and so you found that helped, hey?
Yeah, I just found it. They tell you like how many millions of people are fasting right now, just like you. And
Oh,
yeah, and I just needed accountability again. I
yeah.
have to have it. I just have to.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't see it on here.
So
I'll find it later.
that'd make a good comparison then. So especially for kind of our purposes here, because the
Yes.
idea of this the idea of this podcast is to offer that group accountability. And you arguably have experience with really opposite ends of the spectrum as far as accountability. You have one single person versus an app with millions.
Yeah.
Of those two, what was your experience of the difference between those two? I mean, it's obvious the number, but as far as efficacy, maybe.
Of how effective the app is?
Um, well, I'm more interested in knowing what your experience of those two opposite ends of the spectrum, because arguably, having one single other person that you're accountable to would be
Mm-hmm.
one end of a spectrum, and then
Yes.
having the other end of the spectrum being a digital display with
Right.
no human interaction, but with supposedly millions of people
Yeah.
or whatever it is represented there. So those are, and then you'd have anywhere in between those, like
Yeah.
the next one would be 2 or 3 or 4 friends that you actually interact with, and then
Right.
next and below that would be like a virtual group, kind of like what we're doing. So if you were to compare those two, how did you what was your experience of those two different
I would
accountability
say for the
forms of accountability?
accountability, I really enjoyed. I enjoy more one-on-one, something more intimate. Like I don't know who these millions of people are on this app. Like I don't owe them anything.
Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking it like maybe there's a way on this Zero app that you can connect with friends, like the Strava app. Like I like on the Strava app, oh my God, well, I got to get in 25 kilometers an hour in this section because Jennifer is way faster than me. So I'm going to push myself on this section. But on the
Jennifer.
Zero app, you can't really do that.
Yeah.
So in terms of its efficacy, I would say, it may not fulfill that for some people, their competitive nature, because people are competitive, I will admit.
Yeah.
But I liked the accountability of being able to track my data. I enjoyed that part of it. You can go back and look through the calendar. Oh, out of this month, you did this many days and this many hours of fasting.
Yeah.
But in terms of like, oh, well, you're one of millions of people. that's kind of like not as important to me.
Yeah.
I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, no, it totally does. I was guessing it kind of that, but I didn't
Okay.
having used actually, yeah, not really having had experience with either of those. I would have guessed at what you said, but I didn't know for
Oh,
sure. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Where the people are, it's what, especially a huge number like that. You're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
well, cool. There's a
Like,
million
are they
people out there.
really? Is there
Yeah.
really that many people? Like, for real?
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
called bullshit.
Yeah. Some of these
Oh
people,
shoot! Oh, I don't think I should swear. I guess. Oops, sorry.
oh man, you've been swearing like the whole time.
I have to be careful of that at work. I have a very bad habit that I will swear but not say it out loud. And one child said, "I can read your lips. You said a bad word."
First, I was picturing a big swear jar on your desk there,
God.
buying kids lunch every other day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, well, that's actually really good. I'm just kind of being mindful of time here. We're
Okay.
8:45. So you've actually as far as the formal fast questions, since we're already on that bend, when you are going through them, this is one of the ones that I was interested in because I find that I go through stages. So I'll find that I'll go through hungry stage, not hungry, mental clarity, mental cloudiness,
Right.
and things like that. So do you have a version of that as well? Like, do you find that you have set stages that you kind of go into and out of?
No, I don't. It's just flat. It's just like once I stop eating, it's pretty close to bedtime. Maybe that's why I fall asleep so early.
Oh, yeah.
9:30, 10 o'clock. But I like my 8 hours of sleep. I
Mm-hmm.
gotta have my 8 hours of sleep, and then I get up and it's like it's just perfect. It's just, I love it. I just feel normal. I feel flat. I feel clear.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would say the only thing I kind of notice, like if I'm doing the 16-hour fast, maybe like a half an hour before I'm going to break the fast, I start getting a little bit hungry. And then, so what I've started to do is to do the apple cider vinegar and cinnamon. It tastes disgusting, but apparently that helps with your insulin. And so I find that really helps.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still feeling like clear. I don't have any fogginess, and I don't feel bloated. It's just, so then it's like, oh, I should try a 24-hour fast if I feel like that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when you use the apple cider vinegar and the cinnamon, that's a tool that you use the following day. So it would be the next morning after starting.
I just do it in the morning before I break my fast.
Oh, okay. Just as a, not
just
out
as
of
a thing.
Necessity, just as a, that it's good.
Apparently it's good for you.
Yeah.
It's Thomas Sauer says.
Oh, okay. Definitely.
No, but I've read it, but it's cinnamon from Dr. Fung as well. Cinnamon and apple cider vinegar are very good for your blood sugar.
Yeah, there's a bunch of legit science behind that.
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't know it off the top of my head. That's where you come in.
And actually I should really have that sort of should have that at arm's length, the ability to know the studies.
You're learning. Yeah.
I'm gonna write it down right now and look into whatever. I know enough to call it ACV.
Okay, yeah, because this is my new learning that I'm discovering these things.
Yeah, the abbreviations for certain things.
Well, and just the certain food items you should have to break your fast or just before your fast.
Yeah.
And don't mix carbs with fat.
That's right.
Just protein with a little bit of fat.
Yeah, to break it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say, from what I've read, it seems to me from what I've read, the people that seem to get the most amount of success are the ones that ease into the fast and then also ease out. And they come out of the fast the way that they went in. So ease into it and they end up eating high fat, high protein, no carbs going into it, and then high fat, high protein coming out of it, no carbs.
Hmm.
So they kind of push the carbs to the away from the window of the fast, and that
Hmm.
seems to be a predominant theme in the people that I've read.
Yeah.
Doing it. So it's actually kind of interesting though. So I wrote one of the questions in here just
About my pet?
no, not that one. I was going to say that one. It's as I'm going through this, I'm realizing it's probably less influential as the question that I wrote, which was, where did you grow up?
Oh,
But
right.
rather than that being that simple, you talked about earlier how there's that like familial connection and stuff like that. And I think where a person grows up, and their childhood, and I guess everything that gets them up to the point that they're at in their life when they, that they've gotten to now, whether they're just starting the fast or the point that got them up to fasting. It interests me, that part of it, because I would imagine there's probably some lines that could be drawn from almost everybody's story to a common theme. So I kind of like that question. So
well, and I
that's it.
would
Where'd you grow
say, well, so I grew up not far from here in Orangeville. I don't know if you know where that is. It's about an hour south of me. So I didn't move that too far away. And I grew up with both my parents and a brother who is diabetic, which is why I think I have some food issues, because I grew up in a home where I had a type 1 diabetic brother. So
I was about to say whether he was type 1 or type 2.
Yeah. So there's a lot of, learning with that. But we're 10 years apart. So he's 10 years younger. So I was a lot older when it sort of all happened, and just watching my parents try to figure it all out. And, at that time, it was so different back then. It's all about calories in and calories out, but it doesn't really work that way, watching your sugars. And anyways, I just know that I have a real relationship with food because it was such a part of our life, always. And then we go visit. My mom has her mom who lives in Sutton, and so she has 3 sisters. So we, family times is all the food. You're just surrounded by food. You're just at the trough. But it's, it's comfort, it's family, it's laughter. We all have our favorite goodies that we bring, and
the gatherings were around food.
Always. We visit at least once a month. Yeah. Sometimes more, sometimes less. But so yeah, I really associate that with how I am with food now. It's just such a big part of my life. So this last year, it's been weird. Like when I've sort of been around my parents, it's challenging because I don't want to talk about, I'm fasting right now, or I'm not hungry, or because they don't get it. Well, what do you mean you don't want a cup of tea with these homemade cookies I just made you? Yeah. 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 And I just made your favorite dinner. Oh, I know, but it's just easier to eat it.
So you haven't actually talked to them about it then yet?
Not really. Yeah, like I kind of tried to sort of introduce it over the summer because I spent a lot of time with them at the cottage. So I was making them keto meals, and I said, do you realize that we're having keto? And they were like, oh, I could do that. They were sort of, but I had to do it. I had to initiate it all. But it's really challenging to, they're of that mindset of, well, you're going to starve yourself. You're going to get hungry. Yeah. Well, that's the whole point. Yeah. My mom would never have had a day where she was ever hungry. She wouldn't, that would be hard for her. Yeah.
And so there's a bit of so in that respect, then it would be, if you were in a situation that you were part of their lives more, then do you think then it would make that the habit of fasting that much more difficult, or you think that you would just carry on and it would force you to broach the subject that much sooner? Or, I mean, I'm talking
Yeah, I
hypothetically,
think,
obviously, so it's hard to answer, but
well, because I know, because it's funny because I just talked with a friend about, our current situation and what's the summer going to look like, because I spent a lot of time at the cottage, and, whether I will be staying in the cottage with them or whatever, but I'd already thought, well, I would really like my parents to be healthy. They're just retiring, and, I would love for my mom, I'm going to put a plug in here, but I want her to read that Fasting Lane book.
oh yeah,
I should say that, by
yeah,
Jason
plug away.
Fung and Steve Meyer and Megan Ramos. I think that this would be a good starting point. So
Yep.
I thought I would like for her, in a gentle way, to, it's very, very delicate. I'm still thinking about how I'm going to talk about it, but I really, for their retirement, I'm like, this is a really good time. There's no more excuses. There's no more stress. There's just, you have time and you need to be healthy.
Yeah.
So, but with the current situation of people not sharing dwellings, I don't know what that'll look like, but I plan to talk to them about fasting and how easy it is and how it's something that I think they could do.
Have they, is that something that they have mentioned to you, that they've said, I wish we could do more of this or more of that, or I wish we ate healthier and that would give us the ability to do this or that? Or is it more you'd like to share it with them because of your experience with it and what you've gotten from it?
I would say both.
Or a mix. Yeah, I was going to say, or it could be both, I guess.
Yeah. My dad's active still. He's only literally just retiring this week at 68. And my mom retired in the fall, so she's just 65. But my dad, his weight up and down in the summer. He likes to drink beer, neighbors, and he's pretty social. But my mom, I've just noticed the last few years, she really sort of carries the weight of the world and worries about my brother's health, and so sort of food is the comfort. And so it's very intertwined, having the conversation. We've sort of touched on it intermittently a lot.
Yeah.
But I would really like, I think, she struggles with depression because she is, what's my life's purpose now? I'm retired. Well, I could think of a million things. I got a million things I know I want to do when I retire.
Yeah.
But, I think because she worries so much about my brother's health, it's difficult because he's had some bad scenarios with his diabetes, and so ambulance has come, and he's been in the hospital, and drugs have been sort of part of his life as well.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, well, you can lead a horse to water, but they're not going to drink, so you have to have your own life. Stop being an enabler.
Yeah.
So sorry, that was a long segue. I will definitely strongly encourage them to try fasting, because I think it's an easier, more sustainable lifestyle that I think would work for them. It's just the mindset. That mindset of, the calories in and calories out. We got to count our calories. Let's have the diet pop. Well, they just think that's the better way to eat. No. So
it's unfortunately that
I guess I'll live with them.
That reductionism really took a hold, even as long as like in the 60s, but it was more I shouldn't say the 60s. No, it would be the 80s. And the calorie approach to nutrition really took hold. And the way of determining calories in a food, like with a bomb calorimeter, is very inaccurate. And so, there's you could be up to, I think if I remember correctly, I'd have to look in one of my textbooks, but I think it's up to 25 or 30% plus or minus what you would calculate it to. You think something's 100 calories, it could be anywhere from 70 to 130.
Yeah.
Just because of the inaccuracy of the ability to measure the calories effectively. So,
I was watching Dr. Fung talk about that before our interview. He was talking about measuring calories. Yeah, it was very interesting.
Really?
And you haven't seen that one?
No, I haven't seen that.
Huh.
I'll have to. I haven't watched too much from the more recent things. I was getting, once I got the basics, then I dove into kind of the deeper, I guess you go.
Right.
That's
yeah,
good.
I would say at least with fasting, it's an easy learning curve. Like, I feel like I've sort of had ebbs and flows of my learning. Okay, I'm going to do all this really, I'm going to focus on doing this. And then I just sort of coasted along. And now I want to do more learning because I need to understand the eating part of it. So I'm looking forward to seeing another year under my belt.
Yeah. What would, so you've got the 16, do you do like you do a 12 or a 14 or a 16 kind of thing, or it's more, are you a 14, 16 pretty much?
I'm usually 16, 18.
16,
depending.
18, okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds to me like you've got that pretty locked down if you're able to do that 7 days a week. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was worried that because, you get watching videos and some say for women, it's easier to do every other day fasts. And I tried that for a bit, but I just find that it just works for me. Just 7 days. I should really pop in some longer fasts. Like, I would love if you did a Sunday night to Monday night, 24-hour fast.
Yeah.
That would be, if I knew, Sunday night, we're going to do 24-hour fast. Okay.
Yeah. And so would it be fair to say that would be kind of an unofficial goal that you've got, like to do,
for sure. Yeah.
to do a longer one? Okay.
I would like to sort of incorporate that. I don't know if is it good to do it once a week? Like some people do it weekly. That's the part I need to find out, I guess, what works for me.
Yeah.
Because I do have a bit of extra junk in the trunk, so I'd like to take care of that. Yeah, so if I, incorporated more longer fasting, that would help. Because at least my weight stayed the same. Like, I find that I can be pretty consistent.
Oh, okay. And so so the benefits that you've gotten so far or up till now is more the feeling part of it? Because you said initially that you lost 11 pounds and then
yes.
And it's just stayed off since then?
I put 5 back on.
Oh, okay.
I put 5 back on.
Okay.
So not all of it.
Yeah. So a little less than half. So if now, like the consistency that you've got with the 16 or the 18, it's more the feeling better of it than the number of wanting to keep the 6 pounds off or whatever.
Well, because this is the part, I never brought this up, but I would say that I am definitely, perimenopausal. So I would think hormone fluctuations are an issue. And I'm finding if I do continue the 7-day fasting, that seems to kind of keep me more sane in that department.
Yeah. It feels like so more sane, like more stable or grounded or whatever, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. I guess another woman, maybe a woman, would have a proper term that she could say, oh, this is this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so is it so to go beyond 20 hours for you right now would be, is it curiosity to see what it feels like? Or
and I do want to achieve what they say the optimal time for autophagy. I don't think I've really officially sort of hit that mark, isn't it? You got to do at least a 24-hour fast to really notice.
Yeah. So what I've read is there used to be, it was kind of bandied around that anywhere from the 16 to 18-hour mark, some people 16, other people 18, other people 20, but I think they averaged it out to 18 hours is when the autophagy kind of starts. Like that's the
Yeah.
starting point, and then it will maintain for up to a certain amount of time after that. But then there's other people who take a more rigid approach to it or stance, and they say, no, you've got food in your digestive tract for anywhere from 30 to 35 hours after. So they kind of consider that still the digestion process, and as a result, because of the cloudiness around when autophagy truly starts, I guess, they consider that the real autophagy doesn't start until that point, which is, that's a huge difference. That's almost double the amount of time. So, and I think it's really the issue being that where they're observing cellular autophagy is in animal models. So you get a mouse animal model, and then they're just extrapolating from that the average lifespan of a mouse, work that down to the number of days and what their circadian rhythm is in a day basis, and then they have to remultiply that back up to what a human's version is, and that's where they make this calculation for a human, what they guesstimate to be the 16 to 18 to 20 hour mark for autophagy to start. And so it's really kind of rough science in that, from that regard. So I think the people that are wanting to say that autophagy doesn't start until after that 30 to 35 hour mark is because that's a provable human metric that that they take a very conservative stance and say if it's going to happen, it's going to happen at that point. But yeah, I think it's just because I think the ability to monitor the autophagy actually taking place. Yeah. And
but do you notice, like, do you feel different when you are in that optimal window of time?
Yeah, definitely. So I know for me, it's.
Oh shoot, I'm asking you a question.
No, that's okay. And so actually I could answer, almost the better answer to that is the clinical experience that Fung and Ramos and even other ones like the Wilhelmi Institute and things like that is applying a certain protocol to a given person depending on whatever pathology they've got. So they'll have pathology A, so they'll experiment with it, and then they'll find that, okay, protocol B works best for them because we're trying to address this certain thing. So a real world example of that is George St Pierre, the UFC fighter from Quebec. And he used to have ulcerative, I don't know if he had ulcerative, but he had colitis. And years of trying, this thing and that thing to try to clear it up, what ended up working the best was doing this extended fast, so 2 or 3 days. And so he now does it to a 2 or 3 day fast once a month and trains his way through it. So the reason why that's noteworthy is because of the rate of cellular turnover and slough off in the digestive tract where colitis would be causing issues. So it's showing that you're getting that cellular, that regular cellular turnover and slough, and then cellular rebuild is showing that in the rebuilding process, he's getting non-colitis presenting cells. And so it's requiring a certain period of time for that. So you could use that from a metric from a bunch of different clinical studies if you're able to amalgamate them into one and say, okay, well, we find that people with this certain condition need this amount of time in order for the cells to be repaired. And then that would give you an idea of what the autophagy would look like and the cellular, the corrected DNA, I guess you could say. So I would imagine that it's always a human condition to want to always broad stroke something and say, oh, autophagy starts at this point. But for a given cell, like anything in your mouth or your digestive tract, the cellular turnover is much quicker than, a kidney or a cell or something like that, something else. So I guess you could probably generalize that autophagy could start, at one point for this given cell, and it would start at another point for, much later for another given cell. So
that's homework for the next interview.
Yeah. Yeah, we're getting into the weeds there.
The nerd stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That was like an hour. So
that was an hour?
I think so.
Get out. 9. It's 9 o'clock.
Yeah. Almost
longer.
Bedtime. Want to still get you before you get all starting to fade?
Well, so yesterday I went for a bike and it was just beautiful out and it was so windy and I swear to God by 8:30 like I just was ready. I was ready for bed at 8:30. That's really bad.
Sun just barely going down.
Yeah. Oh,
no, that's good.
Was my thing. Just a question, just in terms of fasted states, because I do like to go biking, and that's the part where I've noticed that I really need, I need to have a carb. Like if I'm going for a long bike ride, I just find that, I just need to have it. I don't know.
Yeah.
That part I need to experiment with, the time of the day.
And, for sure. Yeah, that'd be huge. Like when you start, if you were to go for a ride, like when you would start the ride and like time of day, like you said. And I've heard that before too.
Well, that becomes a thing. There's this really great place that I like to bike to, and it's like a 45, 50K. But the goal is to get a butter tart. Yeah.
I think I know that place.
Have you ever had Grandma Giffen butter tarts?
Is that the one just by Creemore?
Yeah.
That little general store?
Yeah. So she has won awards for those.
I know.
They're so freaking good.
Yes.
So I make that part of my journey. Yeah. So I have binged on those too.
That's a legit reward. Like you're going across,
right?
There's vertical climbs there. There's
hills
wind coming across the fields and stuff.
So that's where I live. I live on the next ridge over. The next ridge south of that. Like I'm at, like anywhere I bike is a freaking hill. It's not just a hill. It's like going up Blue Mountain.
Yeah.
So yesterday I went out and I was like, okay, I'm going to go against the wind first. So that when I come back, I'm not going to be bagged.
Yeah. That's canoe logic right there.
It was, well, I thought so.
Yeah. Paddling.
Do the hard stuff first. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
I forget where I had just that I need carbs with bikes.
Yeah. And it's funny you mention that because I just had that conversation with someone else that does fasting and also rides. And
that could be our next interview after you.
Yep. That would be, I'll have to ask him. And he gets the same kind of thing. He says if he can push himself past a point where he doesn't take carbs, then he finds he hits this peak or he passes this difficult point and then he just gets to a point and he says, then after that, he goes, it feels like I can go forever. Like he goes, I can't go at the same intensity. I have to bring my intensity down. But he goes, once I get to that set intensity, he feels like it can go for a lot longer. So that's his experience with it.
Interesting.
Yeah,
definitely need to experiment with that part.
Yeah, and I bet you time of day would have a big effect on that. That'd be my guess.
Yeah, like I planned my bike ride yesterday late afternoon, A, because it was warmer, and B, because then I could sort of eat a bit more before I went out, because I didn't go that far anyways, but I, was like, oh, I don't know how I'm gonna feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, and I came and I felt great. I didn't need a snack.
Okay.
I brought a snack just in case, because there's nothing worse than that horrible bonk feeling when you're trying to get home.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Low sugar and feeling jittery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not fun.
Yeah. Well, that's good. You think of anything else before we shut her down?
Well, you never asked about my cat, but
oh yeah, what was your first? What your first pet was?
His name was Morris. He was my first cat.
No way. How old were you and how old you got him?
Well, you know what? I don't really know. I think my parents got him when I was really young, like maybe 3 or 4. But we had him up until my brother was born. I think I was a teenager.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. Cats live a lot longer than you realize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My cousin had a cat that lived well into its 20s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like they were, I can't remember. God. Shout out to Matilda. I want to say it was, she lived to like 23 or might even been older than that. I can't remember. Some crazy number.
That's like my mom's horse lived till she was 40, or no, she was 41.
Whoa.
I know.
Aren't horses usually like around 18, 20, 20s?
Yeah.
Early 20s? Yeah.
But we Googled it because we were like, well, maybe she's like the Guinness Book of World Records, but apparently there's been a horse that lived to 65. So,
I don't know why that brought up such a funny mental picture. Just an old ass horse.
Right? Well, but actually it looked really good. But yeah, we were like, we never thought in a million years that her horse would live that long.
Yeah, that's got to be way up there for average. I bet you'd have to travel far and wide to find another horse that lived into its 40s.
Well, it started to become a sort of rite of passage for the person who owned the farm. They like, look, we have such great care. This horse is well into its 40s now. You're going to want to keep your horse here because it's healthy.
That was the advertisement for that.
But actually, these people were really wonderful, and they have won awards for just taking good care of their animals.
Oh, wow.
And made a lot of money doing
it as a result.
So I guess so that was last year my mom had to, I guess it's been a year and a half that she put the horse down. Not because it just was time. Because we wanted to put it down before, but you're like, but it's still, there's nothing wrong with it. So she you don't want to put her down just because.
Yeah.
But when you're paying $500 a month for a lawn ornament, it gets kind of expensive. Yeah, which sounds horrible. That sounds really horrible, but it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's an old horse. Alrighty, this was good.
Okay. All right.
Episode number 1.
Cut and edit?
Yeah.
You gonna press record yet?
I'll make us look amazing. I'll hit the Botox ad.
No double chin.
Yeah.
Put the filter on.
Yeah. Put the Botox filter on and whatever other filters they'd have. I didn't even know. I'm so out of touch with who the good-looking people are in Hollywood. I almost said the Brad Pitt and the Angelina Jolie.
Oh my God!
Filter, because that's
right.
I don't know.
That's your go-to.
People I know. Yeah, I'm sure there's other ones. It would be Chris. Okay, Chris Hemsworth.
Oh right,
maybe.
Not Thomas DeLauer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I need several more cameras and better lighting. Yeah, a fancy palette.
Yeah.
Counter in the backyard. In the back.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
That
was good. We'll shut her down.
All right. So
episode 1 done.
Questions. Oh my gosh.
Up to you.
What's happening?
You can if you want. And then
be kind of about what I'm going to ask you.
I'm going to stop the recording now. And but just stay on the line for a minute here. Thanks everybody for coming.